We're seeing 4 and 5 star wide receivers, offensive linemen that are starting. Let me emphasize that they have a starting spot. They're leaving Bama. And as a Bama fan, I can only help but think, and I think a lot of you are in the same boat as me, you kind of feel like, hey, is there something wrong with the program? What's going on? You guys have been absolutely blowing me up, and trust me, as much as I hate to say this, I've been seeing it, and unfortunately for my Alabama fans, I got more bad news. I'm going to be brutally honest with all of you. I'm not going to try to overhype this. Going into the offseason every single year as a Bama fan, I know players are going to leave. It's a given at this point, especially with the transfer portal. We know all these second and third stringers, they don't want to sit the bench their entire career. I wouldn't either, so they leave, and I have no problem with that whatsoever. And matter of fact, I enjoy watching Alabama's second, third stringers go to another Power 5 school and dominate and become a star player. A great example of this is when Jalen Hurts left Alabama to go to Oklahoma. There's no bad blood, there's no animosity, at least for me. Whenever a Bama player leaves, I'm rooting for him 100%. That's how I am, and I think that's how most Bama fans are, and fans around the country. A few days ago, yes, that's right, only 3, 4, or 5 days ago, I made a video talking about how there's a ton of 4 and 5 star recruits leaving Bama. And it was a ton, but now, I don't even know if a ton is the right word to use. Ever since the transfer portal has officially opened on December 5th, Alabama players are flooding it. And what shocks me the most about this, and I'm going to be honest, it's the main reason I'm making this video, it's not backups, it's starters. We're seeing 4 and 5 star wide receivers, offensive linemen that are starting. Let me emphasize that they have a starting spot. They're leaving Bama. And as a Bama fan, I can only help but think, and I think a lot of you are in the same boat as me, you kind of feel like, hey, is there something wrong with the program? What's going on? That's the only thing you can think about this, because once again, we get it. Second stringer or third stringer leaves makes sense, but a starter? No. And even at that, it's not just 1 or 2 starters, it's 4, 5, or 6. Although it doesn't make any sense to me and I have a lot of questions, we're going to get to the bottom of it. Whoa, hold on. There's a bunch of you that are watching right now, you're not subscribed, and our goal is to reach 250,000 subscribers before Christmas. If you like college football content and you want to be a part of our amazing college football community, consider subscribing. I mean, hey, why not? It's free. You can always unsub later. All right, Matt, blah, 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 shut the crap up. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. Oh yeah, by the way, we are only talking about Alabama in this video. We got to get straight to the juicy stuff. Most Bama fans, you already know that Trey Sanders, the former 5-star running back, he entered the portal. Also, Javion Cohen, that one's surprising because he started 25 games at offensive guard and some more here and there. Kyrie Jackson, the cornerback. And there's some other notable names here and there, but now I'm even overwhelmed with all the Bama players that are leaving. I say we start out hot. Alabama's offensive lineman, Amari Kite, nobody's really talked about this. He entered the portal and he played in every single game. He wasn't a starter. He wasn't a guy that got a lot of recognition, but more than likely he was going to start next season. That one was shocking, and he's not a slouch by any means. He was a 4-star recruit coming out of high school. Here may be the biggest one out of them all. No, I actually think it is. The 6th best, not the 6th at his position, the 6th best player in 2021, 5-star offensive lineman. What do you know? He's actually offensive tackle. Tommy Brackenmeyer, he's leaving. It goes without being said, anytime you lose a 5-star recruit on the offensive line, yeah, it's a detrimental blow. And just like this comment right here says, what's going on at Bama? Like I told you guys, I wasn't too concerned 3 or 4 days ago when a couple 4-star wide receivers left here and there, but now I'm kind of on the fences. It's just interesting because like I said before, when Javion Cohen, the other offensive guard that started for 25 games, when he left, I said, yeah, you see a lot of quarterbacks leave. You see running backs leave. You see wide receivers leave. But it's not every day you see offensive linemen leave, especially when they're starting. You kind of start to get the sense and feel like maybe something's going on with the offensive personnel. Maybe all these guys are getting word and information. There's going to be some changes on the staff. That is the only, and I mean the only thing I can assume. If you have any idea or any guess on what's going on, fill us in the comment section. Like I said, I can't emphasize this enough. It is strange, number 1, to see offensive linemen leave, and number 2, starting offensive linemen leave. And then to go on top of that, 4-star wide receiver JoJo Earl, he also entered the portal. At this point, it almost seems like every single decent wide receiver we have on the team, they're in the portal or they're gone. The Alabama 2020 and 2021 recruiting class at the wide receiver position, one of the worst of all time. Not because the guys are bad, it just didn't work out. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Last year, remember the Ajayi Hall situation? I ain't even going to speak on all that. Y'all know how I feel about Ajayi Hall. If not, go watch some of the previous videos. He was a part of that 2020-2021 Alabama receiving class that was supposed to be really, really good. I'll tell you this much. If I had to grade the Alabama receiving class after Henry Ruggs, Jerry Jeudy, Jalen Waddle, those guys, Devontae Smith, I'm giving them a D plus, at best C minus. If you don't pay attention to a singular thing I say, just pay attention to this part and look at this. Just on December 5th, a total of 6 Alabama players just in one day, they went into the portal. Trayshawn Holden, starting wide receiver. JoJo Earl, he would have been starting if it wasn't for injuries. Wide receiver Christian Larry. All those guys, those wide receivers, they're all 4-star recruits. And they weren't scrubs or anything. They were all playing. Christian Larry, he wasn't playing too much. Offensive lineman Javion Cohen started 25 games. Tommy Brockmeyer, we already talked about him, 5-star recruit. And offensive lineman Amari Kite, he played a lot. Here's where things get even more interesting. As to when I'm speaking, as to when you're watching this video, there is now 12 scholarship players from Alabama in the transfer portal. 12. Trey Sanders, Amari Knight, Trayshawn Holden, Damian George, Tanner Bowles, Christian Larry, JoJo Earl, Kyrie Jackson, Javion Cohen, Tommy Brackemeyer, Braylon Ingram, and Jack Martin. I have no idea who the last 2 guys are. Outside of the last 2 guys, all those 10, the first 10 you see, they're 4 or 5-star recruits. Alabama fans may not think it's a big deal. They're like, it is what it is. Just plug in the next 4 or 5-star. But losing 10 4/5-star recruits? I mean, yeah, that's definitely worth talking about. Not many schools outside of Alabama and Georgia and Ohio State have 10 4- and 5-star recruits even on the roster. The fact that Alabama is about to lose 10 4/5-star recruits, it's unthinkable. What's even crazier about that is it probably isn't even going to affect Bama all too much. Whoa. Hold on. Matt, did you just say losing all these guys, it's not going to affect Bama? And yes, I did. Let me explain. Well, first things first, I don't even care if we do a complete blow up of this team this year because they weren't all too great. Yes, Alabama was good this year compared to the rest of college football, but for Alabama standards, they were embarrassing. This 2022 team, outside of Bryce Young and Will Anderson, has been one of the most pitiful Nick Saban-led teams I've ever witnessed. I get it. Well, Matt, how are you saying that? They finished 5th in the country. This was one of the top 5 teams in 2022. And yes, as compared to the rest of the country, I'm comparing them to Nick Saban standards. It's different at Alabama, and you got to understand and realize that. Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't mind if Trayshawn Holden wanted to stay at Bama, but I'm not going to be too upset about him leaving. He only had 500-something receiving yards this season. I mean, come on, guys. Let's not even try to act for a second like Trayshawn Holden's on the level of a John Mechie or a Jameson Williams. Not even close. I think he's a good football player, but he's not that big of an impact. The bottom line is, our best wide receiver for Alabama this year, and if you're a Bama fan, you know who I'm about to say, and it's embarrassing, it really is, was our running back, Jahmyr Gibbs. Yeah, that sums up the 2022 Alabama season, our best wide receiver. And this is according to these stats. This isn't my opinion. Jahmyr Gibbs was our best wide receiver. It's so sad, man. So although I do kind of like JoJo Earl and Christian Larry, didn't see too much of them, it's not a detrimental loss. Same thing for Trey Sanders. He had an unfortunate circumstance. He gets a pass. He had so many obstacles he had to overcome at Bama. I can make an entirely separate video just talking about all the trouble he had to go through. It's not trouble like bad trouble at Jai Hall. It was just bad stuff was happening to him. He had so many injuries he had to deal with, then he was in a car wreck, and yada, yada, yada. I think it's good for Trey Sanders to leave and go somewhere else. It just wasn't working out at Bama. He needs to get a fresh start, and I cannot wait to see wherever he lands up because I'm going to pay attention. I'm hoping Trey Sanders, he sees success somewhere or at least gets on the field. And it's the same thing for all these other wide receivers. I'm wishing them the best of luck, but it's not a big loss. The only guy I point to on this list you're currently looking at and go, dang, that may hurt us slightly, is Javion Cohen, because he did start 25 games. Outside of that, yeah, the Tommy Brackemeyer dude, he was 5-star recruit and whatnot, but it's not like he was some force to be reckoned with. You didn't hear ESPN talking about Tommy Brackemeyer. Like, come on now, let's be real. So to all my Bama fans, here's how I think you should be feeling about this as to where it stands. There's 12 players currently in the portal. You got about 10 or 4 or 5-star recruits. They're going to leave. Yes, it is slightly concerning. I will say that. It is concerning. However, you got to look at it from this standpoint, and here's how I'm looking at it. It opens the door up for the new recruits that are coming in and guys sitting on the bench that they may be a 3 or 4-star recruit, but they're going to give it 110% effort. I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. I'll take the 3-star recruit that gives me 120% effort over the 4 or 5-star that feels entitled and spoiled and gives me 70% effort. The wide receiver position, we got to talk about it real briefly. I don't sit here and worry about it. I don't think about it. It doesn't keep me up at night. But at the same time, when I look at it, I go, okay, we got to fix this. We got to find somebody in this portal, or somebody's got to step up, and they got to be that Jameson Williams or John Mechie we had in 2021. The offense was great this year, but at times when we were stagnant, it's because we don't have that go-to wide receiver that can burn the defense like Jameson. I miss watching him play. He could just run off a 10-yard slant and turn into a 75-yard touchdown within a blink of an eye, just like that. And he could also burn a defense. The way he embarrassed that Georgia defense in the SEC championship brought a smile to my face. I haven't smiled the entire season being a Bama fan. That's going to be something to keep your eyes on, Bama fans. I'm not too worried about the offensive line. They'll figure it out. The wide receiver position, you either A, got to find somebody in the portal like a Jamison Williams, which is rare, but maybe Bama could do that. Or B, you got to have somebody on the bench or a recruit come in and step up and fill that void. Until that happens, you're going to see what happened this year happen again next year, and that's not good. Also got to remind you, know who else we're losing next year? It's not to the portal, but we're losing them. That's Bryce Young, one of the great, no. The greatest Alabama quarterback of all time. I get it. Some people's not going to like that argument because he didn't win a championship, but that's not his fault. He's the greatest Bama quarterback of all time, and if you want to say he's not, well, who else has a Heisman? Nobody in college football this year, and even last year, did more with less than Bryce Young. You can debate a brick wall on that. Bama fans, also pay attention to this. I got to speak on it. It is only the beginning of this transfer portal chaos that is going on. So these 12 players that are in the portal, I expect it to increase to maybe 15, 16, 17, make it up into the 20s. I get it, it sounds like a lot, but we're already at 12. I could continue to go on and on. Let me know in the comment section. If you're a Bama fan, or even if you're not a Bama fan, should Bama be concerned about all these guys leaving? I don't think Bama fans should be worried, but definitely you should be slightly concerned. The red flag's up. Or not the red flag, but the yellow flag. It's about to be red. You know who I wish would leave Alabama, though, and enter the transfer portal? This is the only person I really want gone. Bill O'Brien and Pete Golden. I guess it's not a person, it's two people. Get them out of here. Somebody put them in the transfer portal. I might just go to the transferportal.com website and enter them in it myself. I'm very curious. Let me know your thoughts down below. But